What's up, you guys? I want to talk real quick about a problem that I see repeatedly with a lot of really intelligent people that are looking at buying a business and they're going through their evaluation and due diligence process. And what that problem is they confuse the operations with their due diligence. They think that asking the seller what exactly they're doing on a day-to-day basis and how they run and operate that business is really kind of figuring out their evaluation process. And the reality is that this is very seldom ever really an effective way at evaluating a business. Now, granted, you do want to know what the seller is doing on a day-to-day basis, and that's one tiny component of your full evaluation process. But again, it's only a tiny component. The other thing that I see that happens a lot is that they confuse the simplicity of the operations with the simplicity of the evaluation process. And a lot of times these two things are not connected whatsoever. So if you imagine a very simple business like a self-serve car wash, well, that's obviously far more simplistic than something like a hotel. And so what a lot of people do is they confuse the simplicity of the operations with the simplicity of the evaluation process, and they don't mix. So for example, with the car wash, a lot of times when people start to go to evaluate these businesses, they realize, wait a minute, this is a simple operation, but I can't verify whether this business is making what it is because it's all cash and the guy lies on his tax returns and I think he's been exaggerating some other stuff. Who knows what's been going on? And they start to realize, wait a minute, even though this is a simple business and it seems low risk, it's super high risk in terms of your acquisition risk that the seller has misled us in some sort of way. The same thing happens in laundromats or vending machines. All these businesses that have a lot of cash components to their income are very difficult to evaluate. It's not impossible, but it's far more difficult than what someone would have you believe because it's a simple operation. Well, there's not a whole lot of things that can go wrong in the evaluation. It's simply not true. And in fact, a lot of these simple businesses can be some of the most difficult to evaluate correctly. Even businesses like a FedEx route, a lot of times people come to me and they'll say, oh, Tony, we don't need too much help here. This is a real simple business. We've dealt with a lot more complex stuff than this. Get some trucks, put the drivers in there, deliver stuff for FedEx. We get it. Well, they don't, because when that contract changes or when a terminal moves or whenever a contract gets non-renewed or terminated, there's all sorts of things that can change what they thought was a very low-risk operation and evaluation to, yes, it's a simple operation, but the evaluation process is unbelievably complex. So a lot of times people get these things confused. So the next time you're thinking about buying a simple business and thinking that it's going to be low risk, the operational side of it may be lower risk indeed, but the acquisition risk, the risk that the seller has misled us in some sort of way, that can sometimes be sky high, it can be very low, it just depends, but they're not correlated between the complexity of the operations and the complexity of the evaluation process. So just something to think about. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.